Hey there. For this, we're going to be looking at the exams and how to prepare for it. Then this is quite detailed, so do expect to spend some time with this. Um, let's see. Let's do it this way. We'll go through. We'll scroll. You can either scroll down this way or you can visit it here, right? So let's go to Unit 1. There's just two places to go. You can either go here or you can go down on the home page. Take you to the same place. So for Unit 1, there is two folders to go through for content and then a folder for Exam 1. So you've got Reconstruction and you've got the West. Each content folder, like right here, will come with an essay prompt, right? So what I highly recommend is getting, for this course, is getting a spiral notebook. Get a spiral notebook for this course so you can keep all of your notes in one place. And just start right from Reconstruction. What I highly recommend doing, a lot of students will ignore me with this advice, and then they'll later take me up on it, and then they'll very much appreciate this advice. All of you guys will not ignore this because you're here to succeed. So right now in your spiral notebook, if you have one handy, write down that essay prompt. Discuss the two constitutional theories that evolved around the question of Reconstruction. Within your discussion, identify and describe the three phases of Reconstruction and how congressional Reconstruction was a reaction to presidential Reconstruction. Describe the Compromise of 1877 and its effects on reestablishing white supremacy. And then on another piece of paper, maybe 2 or 3 pages into your spiral notebook, write down this essay prompt. I would do this right off the bat, right now, before you even click anything else. Do that. What that will do immediately is, whether these words make sense to you or not, it will get your brain in an unconscious level to begin thinking about those words, right? So this is why I highly, highly, highly recommend handwriting these words out. You will be doing your brain a favor, and you will be experiencing less stress in your journey to succeed in this course. So I just want to throw that out there. That's the advice I have into succeeding in this course. When you're ready to do Reconstruction, start with Reconstruction. For Reconstruction, there are 2 things to go through. You will have an assignment that you need to go through. Let me just go through that real quick before I get to the lectures. Right? You want to watch this film right here. Click there. Watch this documentary on Reconstruction. And then as you're watching it, you want to respond to these questions right here. Right? So I would copy and paste this and just put it in a Word document, and then as you're watching the film, just respond to this, right? You're just responding to these questions as you see them in the film. So you just watch this film and go through it, and then when you're ready to respond to these questions, you just click here, and then there'll be directions on how to submit your assignment. It's due this Friday, so get to it as soon as you possibly can. All right. And the other part of Reconstruction, and most the topics for each unit will just have lectures. This is the only one that will have a film associated with it. So when you're ready for the lectures, click there. And the lectures will be broken down here into 4 parts. That'll be typical too. It'll be anywhere from 3 to up to 6 different segments, or learning objectives, as I refer to them. What I highly recommend doing before you even get started, again, is to write down each learning objective in your notes, right? Discuss the 2 constitutional theories that evolved around the question of Reconstruction, and then give yourself some space, and then write down the second learning objective. So give yourself about 5 or 6 lines of space, and do that for all 4 of them. Now, here's what I recommend. Understand you're going to feel a degree of anxiety about getting this or not, right? That's normal, right? What will help you is not procrastinating. I can't emphasize that enough. If you wait until Friday night to begin going through this information, what you will be denying yourself is the opportunity of your the opportunity for your brain to digest this material, to literally sleep on this material, right? So you want to honor the limitations of the average human brain, which most of us have that. We have an average human brain. You want to honor that. It doesn't absorb information immediately. It needs to organize it. So here's what I mean. If you do this, it will be very, very helpful for you. You want to write this learning objective down right here. Discuss the two constitutional theories that evolved around the question of Reconstruction. So within this video here, I'm going to respond to that essay prompt. I'm going to go through the details of that, right? So you click play and just view the lecture. Hey everybody. As you're viewing the lecture, don't stress yourself about, one, don't try to write every single word I say down. Write down just the names I mentioned, people's names, dates, the dates of maybe bills or laws passed by Congress or court cases. Maybe if I'm talking about an event or an individual, if I talk about a historical individual, just write the name down. Don't worry about what it means. Don't worry about how it fits within this learning objective. Just write down just words that strike you. So again, I would just write down any historical figures I mentioned, any dates, historical dates, court cases, laws, just anything that's historical of an event, right? Something that sounds like history, right? When you're done with that learning objective, don't worry about just you have your notes. They're right there. Just, okay, there's some notes. If you know what they mean, great. If you don't know what they mean, that's fine too. You probably won't know what they mean. This is, if you're like most human beings on this planet, this information is new to you, right? So you might not know exactly what you just wrote down. Now go to the next learning objective. Write it down. And then play and write down notes that seem to help you respond to that learning objective, right? Again, writing down individuals' names that I mentioned, events, dates, laws that are passed, whatever the case is. Go do that for each learning objective. Try to do this tonight. Right? If you're watching this video on Monday, tonight, try to go through this lecture tonight. Right? Without the intention of getting it. Just let yourself not understand this stuff. Right? And then tomorrow, come back to it. Right? Come back to it. What will have happened is, one, you'll watch it again, and you'll just be repeating itself, right? And so that will help your brain absorb the material, because it's just like and this stuff is very much like a great song you hear on the radio, right? It begins to infest itself inside your brain, and so you can begin repeating the information. But what will also happen is, if you come back to it a day later, if you afford yourself that time, you come back to it a day later, your brain, what happens when you sleep is, this is what dreaming is your brain organizes the information within the gray matter. And so you are able to then put some of the stuff into context on a second and third viewing of this, right? And then you might find yourself writing stuff down on the second time that actually make a little bit more sense to you, right? The words will make sense. Oh yeah, now he's talking about Lincoln. He's talking about Lincoln's Vice President Johnson, right? You might not even have cued in that I was talking about Lincoln's Vice President Johnson within this learning prompt here, right? The second time, like, oh yeah, Vice President Johnson now is doing these things, right? Who knows what your experience will be, but you might find that, like, oh, I didn't even realize he was talking about that first time around. And that's very typical, right? The brain doesn't absorb things immediately. It takes time to do this. This is why you don't want to put things off. If you put things off, what will happen is your brain will not, you will deny your brain the opportunity to organize this information. So you want to be able to sleep on this stuff. Now, what you want to work towards with these lectures is you want to be able to write a paragraph to perhaps 2 paragraphs per learning objective, right, in your notes. So each learning objective should constitute 5 to 6 sentences, a paragraph, if not 2 paragraphs that are about 5 to 6 sentences. So 1 to 2 paragraphs a piece. Sometimes it might be up to 3 paragraphs, but typically it's just 1 to 2. Now, when you're done with your paragraphs that you've written based on the notes that you've taken, you will have the basis for a 6 to 10 paragraph essay to respond to this essay prompt up here, which is just basically the responding to these learning objectives. Now, what do you do with this essay? Real important information. A lot of students get really anxious about this because they don't take the time to listen to the orientation, I suppose. So listen to this very carefully. What you're going to do is you're going to take notes. You're going to practice writing the essays on your own time. And then when it comes to taking the exam will ask you to respond to one of these essays, either from Reconstruction or from the West, right? That'll be exam 1. So let's go back to the lectures here. So you've got the West right here. This also has an essay prompt, right there. So you want to go through that same process with the West. It has, let's just show you real quick. Right, same thing. Write down that essay. Write down the learning objectives once you see them. Learning objective 1, 2, 3, and go through that same process. You have to view this more than once. You're not going to get it the first time, right? Write down the notes as you see fit. Second time, you'll notice that your notes will make a little bit more sense and they'll probably be a little bit more detailed. Then you want to write down a paragraph or 2 per learning objective, and then you'll have the basis for an essay prompt, right? And then when you're done with all of that, I would practice again writing the essay, right? So you can get familiar with this information. Now, what will happen is when you're ready to take the exam, you have to take the exam for Unit 1 by this Saturday. It's open now, so you can take it now. So don't put it off. Highly recommend taking the exams no more than 1 day ahead of schedule. Don't wait till Saturday. In other words, don't wait till Saturday. If you wait till Saturday, that's when the internet will crash, right? And there are no makeups in this class. So don't put yourself in that situation. You want to try to take it about 2 days, a day ahead of time. But yeah, don't take it the day of. If you take it the day of, you risk something going wrong. So exam 1, let me open this up real quick. Here we go. Exam 1. You'll click here. And let me pay attention to this because this confuses a lot of students too, especially if you've never taken an exam on Blackboard through Lockdown Browser. You click begin, and oh my gosh, I don't have a password. It's asking me for a password. I wish Blackboard didn't put this in here. I don't know why they put this in here. It just confuses people. There is no password for the exams. There are no passwords, right? What's going on here is you're supposed to open it up in Lockdown Browser, and what happens is when you do open it in Lockdown Browser automatically puts in the password that Respondus assigns for this. It's not me putting a password in here. So it's just a password that Respondus has that it automatically plugs in if you open it up in Lockdown Browser. If you're unfamiliar with that, again, it is you need to download the software that's available that I showed you in the syllabus essay video. If you need that software, it's available right here. You click there, and you either go here or here, right? And then you you click this, and then you go to Blackboard. You sign into Blackboard like you normally would, and just go to the exam and open up the exam there. So you have to do it through Lockdown Browser. You'll have to do that for your orientation exam, so be aware of that. Here we go. Okay. This essay, again, will randomly pick one essay from Unit 1. One of them, just one, right? So you don't send me these essays through Blackboard or anything like that. It will randomly, you have to be ready for both of them, so this is why you have to complete both of these essays on your own. But to get credit for the unit, you will get credit by responding to the essay that the exam randomly selects for you. Either it's going to be the one on the west, place or process, or it's going to be reconstruction. You don't know. You won't know until you click begin. You got to do that through Lockdown Browser. Right. So again, you aren't sending me all of these essays. Don't send me these essays. So just understand that you get credit through the exams for these essays. Now let's look at. Go back to the home page. Let's look at Unit 2 real quick. You'll do Unit 2. It's the same thing as Unit 1, basically, just different material, obviously. Social Darwinism, labor movement. There's an exam here for it. But let me open up this right here. Where are all the exams located? Unit exams. So we can see how they're all structured at once here. So exam 2 will have 2 essays. One randomly selected from Unit 2, one randomly selected from Unit 1. And you'll have 80 minutes to complete that as opposed to 60 minutes since it's 2 essays. Exam 3 will have 3 essays, right? And you'll have no more than 3 essays. And so this will be the highest one. The rest will ask you just for 3 essays as well. And so Exam 3 will have 1 essay from Unit 3, 1 essay from Unit 1, 1 essay from Unit 2, all randomly selected. And you won't know, so in other words, you won't know what the essays will be until you click begin, right? Unit 4, there'll be 3 essays. There'll be 2 essays from Unit 4 and 1 essay from Units 1 through 3 randomly selected. So on and so forth, as it states there. So that's how the exams are structured. So just be familiar with that. Again, you're not turning any of the essays in from the lectures to me. You are responding to the essays as they're randomly selected, as directed within all of the descriptions there when you take the exams. So just understand that. That causes a lot of confusion for students because I don't think they go through all of the orientation. But you did, so you'll know, right? You're not turning these essays in. You're responding to, you are turning them in, but you're only turning the ones in through the exams that it's randomly selecting for you, right? So just understand that aspect of the course there, and you'll be fine. That should do it for the exams. Do let me know if you have any questions. Even though you might think it's a stupid question, there are no stupid questions at the beginning of the semester. It's okay to be confused. Don't stay confused, though. There's no time, right? So ask away. I will be on the internet quite a bit the first week because I understand that students are quite anxious and they want to understand how to succeed. And so I want to make sure that your questions are responded to as soon as you have them. So again, if I don't get back to you on an email within 24 hours, something went wrong. If I don't get back to you within, I would say 6 to 7 hours, unless it's like in the middle of the night, right? I usually get back to students within the hour, right? So don't hesitate to email me again. Don't think you're being rude or anything like that. Just say, hey, I sent you an email 6 or 8 hours ago or yesterday and you haven't gotten back to me, right? Something went wrong. If I didn't get back to you. All right, the next one I will talk about the final paper, yeah, the final paper will be the next one. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.